In the news this week, Edinburgh Council apologises for cancelling a Christian conference, the government's no-fault divorce law is delayed, and Maya Forstater wins her case on the right to express the reality of biological sex. Hello. Edinburgh Council has admitted acting unlawfully in cancelling a Christian conference because of a speaker's biblical views on marriage and sexuality. US preacher Larry Stockstill had been due to speak at the conference run by Destiny Church last summer, but the council decided his views were offensive and discriminatory and shut the event down. Destiny challenged the decision, and ahead of a full court hearing, the council apologised and agreed to pay £25,000 in an out-of-court settlement. It acknowledged it had failed to meet its equalities duties to Destiny Ministries in terms of the Equality Act 2010 and therefore acted unlawfully. Destiny founder Andrew Owen said this serious infringement of religious liberty and freedom of expression had to be challenged. With this behind us, we look forward to being able to make use of council premises in the future. The church's lawyer, Brent Haywood, spoke to the Institute about the significance of the council's apology for churches and Christian organisations across the UK.
Obviously, this has been a significant outcome for Destiny Ministries. Right from the beginning, they didn't want to bring this action. They tried to speak to the council to ask it to think again about its decision. But when the council refused, it really had no option but to take matters forward. It spoke with a number of Christian people and Christian organisations before embarking on litigation. And it felt that this was a particularly important situation, that if Destiny could be cancelled from using a public space hired out by Edinburgh Council, then what was to stop the same thing happening to other Christian organisations throughout the UK?
The increasingly controversial lobby group Stonewall has become embroiled in a new row for telling employers they should swap the term mother for parent who has given birth. Organisations that follow the advice can improve their position in Stonewall's annual ranking of the top 100 LGBT-inclusive workplaces. Its guidelines also tell employers to remove gender markers and titles and adopt pro-transgender policies, such as allowing those who identify as trans to use the toilets and changing rooms of their choice. It comes as more and more organisations leave the embattled charity's controversial Diversity Champions scheme, which co-founder turned critic Simon Fanshawe said gives misleading advice.
The reason these people are leaving the scheme is not because they don't want to treat trans people decently, not because they don't want to treat lesbians and gays decently in their companies and organisations, but because the advice that Stonewall is giving is the advice they want the law to be, not the law as it is, so they're damaging their credibility, but worse than that, they're giving advice which divides people against each other within these organisations, and that's not what employers want.
The government's no-fault divorce law, which would allow a person to divorce their spouse for any reason, has been delayed until next year. The Divorce, Dissolution and Separation Act, which will allow a divorce in just 6 months, was set to come into force this autumn. However, due to the pandemic and technical issues relating to moving the system online, it has been pushed back to April 2022. The Institute's Kieran Kelly said the new law will inevitably lead to more broken families. Delaying this marriage wreckers charter offers a brief respite, but in the end, quicker, easier divorce will lead to more broken families. It has always been plain to see that the damage is largely done not by the process of divorce, but by the act itself. And finally, a mum who lost her job for defending the reality of biological sex has won her appeal. Maya Forstater had tweeted that biology determines whether people are male or female, and an employment appeal tribunal has now declared her beliefs are protected by the Equality Act. Forstata expressed her relief after the successful case.
I'm just an ordinary woman, I'm a mother, I was on Mumsnet, but I'm also a policy researcher, and I thought I should be able to tweet about this, and then when I couldn't, I became the test case.
She later added, being a woman is a material reality. It is not a costume or a feeling. Institutions that pretend sex doesn't matter become hostile places for women in particular. Well, that's all for this week. For regular updates and information on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.